We know you have lots of questions, and we're here to verify and get the facts straight from our vetted experts. We have Dr. William Moss, Dr. Gigi Gronval, Dr. Matt Freeman, Dr. Glenn Wortman, and the CDC. So let's verify first, can a regular COVID test on its own tell you if you have the Omicron variant? Well, right out of the gate, our experts all say no. If you're using a rapid test, that won't be able to detect a variant. It'll just tell you whether or not you currently have COVID-19. But PCR tests, the most common, can give you a hint as to whether you might be infected with the Omicron variant. Here is how.
It looks for 3 different parts of the virus, and one of those parts is not the same in Omicron as in Delta.
Here's how our experts explained it. One section of the PCR test looks for a specific spike protein, and scientists have found because Omicron has so many mutations on the spike protein, that section of the test looks abnormal. But that alone won't tell you if you have Omicron. So let's now verify, how do you identify a variant? Well, our experts say that's where sequencing comes in. Scientists take that COVID virus collected from a positive test, zoom in on its genome, and use that to figure out which variant it is. Dr. Wortman says it's like finding matching boxcars on a train.
So the virus is made up of RNA, and if you think of like little boxcars on a train, there are 30,000 of those box chains with the RNA virus. And what happens in the laboratory is they can actually look at those box chains, and then with computers, they compare them to known trains.
So right there in the lab, that's where they identify a variant, which brings us to our last question. We're going to verify if you do have the Omicron COVID variant, could you ever be notified about it? And all of our experts say probably not.
You don't know as a consumer of a test what, or as a patient, what kind of variant you have.
No, generally speaking, unless you're in some kind of special research trial, you're not going to know if you were infected with one variant or another.
If you have COVID, you have COVID. It does not matter if you have Omicron or Delta.
So Lorenzo, bottom line, it is quite the process to try to find and identify variants. And I should be clear here, not every positive COVID test is sequenced for variants. Our experts say that nationwide, we are only sequencing about 1% of positive tests.
Yeah, so Mike, do we know if anyone in particular is looking for these variants in our area? Like, for instance, how will we know if there's a positive case in DC?
Okay, so first question, yes, we are certainly looking for variants, and I reached out to our local health departments. Here's where they stand. Virginia has sequenced about 2.7% of all cases since the beginning of the pandemic. Maryland's weekly average over the last month was about 28%, and DC says it is sequencing about 10% of all positive tests. But again, if something comes back as Omicron in the lab, we'll have the announcement that there is an Omicron case, but it won't be connected to any one person. You won't get the notification.
They will just tell you you're positive for COVID-19.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
Okay, good information, Mike. Thank you.